In the past century, vinyl was considered one of the most definitive ways to listen to music commercially. Since then, this format's considered obsolete with innovations such as the compact disc being able to store more data and streaming services being able to deliver tracks directly to your phone. But in the recent years, vinyl has become to make a comeback with music collectors, hipsters, and the rest of the general consumers. Today, these vintage-esque record stores are returning commercially to shopping venues, and even more mainstream distributors like Target and Walmart, they sell vinyl records in their entertainment departments. But where did these come from? I thought these were all a thing of the past. Well, the vinyl revival happened when streaming services such as Spotify, Apple Music, and Tidal, they began to pay their artists little revenue for the songs that they make. Furthermore, not only buying records supports artists generate revenue, but also it's an essential hobby for collecting and listening to records as a music junkie like myself. Now, what I have behind me are a bit of my records here. I've got old stuff like Lionel Richie and Phil Collins, and then I have more new current stuff like The Strokes and Kanye. I consider myself a big record fanatic. I even have my name printed in a special edition vinyl right up here. What I have in my record collection is a treasure trove that not only identifies with my tastes and preferences, but also impresses my guests and company. Let's see. In 1867, the first gramophone was patented by Emil Berliner. The device was mainly hand-operated and played 7-inch rubber discs like what I have here. This would be the first prototype for vinyls to be cut and played commercially, distributed by Columbia Records in about 1939. The record player works as a needle drags along the disc, creating a magnetic pulse that creates the sound wave at the end of the arm that plays through the speakers. Let's see. In 1962, the first cassettes were available. This would make the LP, it'd make it obsolete because cassette tapes had the ability to play, pause, rewind, and fast forward at the push of a button, rather than looking for a specific groove in the record, trying to find out something to listen to. After decades of music being played on CDs and on records, all this physical stuff, after decades of that, digital music began to pop out on MP3s and MP4 files. January 17 actually had the highest grossing record sales since 91 because indie artists started to go back to releasing albums on vinyls to make up for lost revenue. As corporations who provide the streaming services begin to grow, they bring the extra revenue along with them. Oftentimes, being a smaller artist in the industry, your main revenue is already taken by a big record label, and now with another chunk being divided off to a streaming services to put out your music. The revenue generated by the merchandising team for these vintage media outlets not only preserves the art in vinyls, but also makes a good fan item. A couple pioneers in the vinyl revival industry were Jack White, Southern rock star, guitarist for the White Stripes, made it on number 70 on the Rolling Stones Top 100 Guitarists of All Time, and Taylor Swift, a mainstream artist who revolted against streaming services by releasing her albums on vinyl weeks before streaming services. Not only is buying records a wonderful way to support your favorite artists in any way, shape, or form to generate other ways of revenue, but also it's a wonderful hobby to collect all these records, and they're great to show off to my guests. Wonderful hobby for anyone who gets their hands on a bunch of limited edition special pressings. Sure enough to satisfy any music junkie and impress any guest you have or company.